You're listening to the John and Heidi Show Bonus Hour. If you miss any of the program, you can find the podcast at the bottom of the page at sunnyradio.com.
Give yourself a little credit.
I've been telling you about BetterCreditCards.com for a few years now. I'd love for you to take a few minutes today to check out the website. Who knows? You might find a better credit card, one that offers a better rate, or a credit card that offers cash back, airline miles, or other points and perks that can help you. Check it out now.
Give yourself a little credit. Go ahead and switch to BetterCreditCards.com.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show. Excited to visit with another very funny comedian who's going to be in Sioux Falls tonight. Luise is coming to town for Snow Jam Comedy Festival. First of all, Luise, where are you from?
I am coming in from Milwaukee. I'm living in Milwaukee right now, but for those radio listeners who are figuring it out, I have a German accent. I grew up in Germany and have been in the U.S. now for 4 years.
Very nice. And how are you like in the U.S.? Is it kind of what you were expecting, or is it completely different?
I mean, in parts, it's what I've been expecting. In parts, I like it even better than I thought. And as of January, I'm very cold. It's definitely colder than I ever experienced in my life before.
Well, get ready to be even colder tonight. So, no, I think in Milwaukee, you guys have probably got about the same temperatures we've had here. You're coming to Snow Jam Comedy Festival. Have you done quite a few comedy festivals?
Yes. That is how I found out about Snow Jam. I've been in North Carolina and Cleveland last year, and I'm starting this year in South Dakota. I'm there for the first time, which is super exciting.
Well, we're excited to have you in town. Again, the festival kicks off tonight. It goes through this weekend, so it's going to, it's sneaking up 18, 19, 20, and 21. And it's funny because you and I were talking a little bit ahead of time. I started doing these interviews back in December, and I remember back then thinking it's so far away, and now it starts tonight, which is just crazy to me.
It is so exciting. It's the same thing for me where I thought like, I have time to pack, I have time to prepare, and now we're here.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We're excited to have you here. Now, for people who've not had a chance to see your comedy, what type of comedy, what type of humor do you do when you're performing on stage?
I would say I'm very much there for the girlies. Let's say that it's a friendly way of saying what kind of body parts we're talking about a lot. We're making jokes about immigration, like the journey of coming from Germany to the U.S. for sure. And we're definitely talking about some silly things like books and capitalism, all these exciting stuff.
That is awesome. Well, I'm excited to see you. Tonight is the kickoff. Do you know which night you start performing? Are you performing tonight?
No, I'm starting tomorrow on Friday. I'm at 7 p.m. at the LGBT LOL Showcase at Remedy at 6:11, and at the same venue the next day at 4 p.m. I'm doing a Hot Cobra comedy on Saturday.
That's awesome. Well, I will see you performing tomorrow and Saturday. And I was just going to say, as you came to the United States and when you were coming here, now growing up in Germany, you probably saw a lot of American movies and TV shows. Is that kind of what you thought it was going to be like? And are we anything close to that? Or is it like two completely different worlds when you get to the reality of what it's like in the United States?
I mean, it's definitely different in the sense of like all the movies act like there's only LA and New York. And then you find out there's a whole country in between those two places that is not shown at all.
Yeah, that is, and it's funny because like I've talked to people who, when I'll visit with them and they're from another country, they're like, well, how far are you from New York? Or how far are you from Chicago or LA? It's like they know like 5 big communities. And then when you say that you're, hours and hours and hours away, they're just amazed because it takes forever to get anywhere in this country.
Oh, for sure. Like I've made these mistakes before where I looked at a map and was like, so Dallas must be 4 hours away, because you just compare it to the country where you're from and then you realize it's actually 19.
Yeah, it's a little bit more.
And then really switches up your plans.
Oh, yeah. And I've got a dear friend that lives in England, and we were talking about that because he said, I can drive across my entire country quicker than you can drive across the state of South Dakota, which again is just crazy to me.
No, definitely been there. I lived in Texas before I lived in the Midwest, and that teaches you some lessons in how big just one state can be.
Well, we are so excited to see you in Sioux Falls for Snow Jam Comedy Festival. And have you met some of the other people you're going to be performing with? Do you know any of the folks that are going to be here?
Oh, yeah. I'm super excited. I'm coming up with a friend from Milwaukee who I've been doing comedy with the past 3 years, Reagan Niemela. She's also on the Friday showcase with me. And I met the organizer, Dan Bublitz, in North Carolina. That is how I found out about Snow Jam. So I'm super excited for his set as well.
Well, we are excited to have you in town. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I'm so excited for the fest.
Well, we will see you tonight again. Snow Jam Comedy Festival. It kicks off tonight. Coming up in a moment, we've got another comedian that we're going to chat with, and Timmy Williams, one of the organizers of the event. Those two are going to be on the phone here with me in just a bit. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Thursday.
Insurance. It's important to have insurance, but it's more important to have the right insurance. After all, if you're not covered, it's like not even having insurance. Make sure you're covered for whatever claim might come your way with InsuranceChicken.com, helping you peck out great insurance deals in your area. You need insurance on your car anyway. Why not get great rates for great insurance from InsuranceChicken.com? That's InsuranceChicken.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show. We appreciate you joining us on a Thursday, and I'm excited because I've got one of the very funny stand-up comics who is a part of Snow Jam Comedy Festival, which kicks off today. I've got Tyrel Frazier joining me. Tyrel, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me on the show, John.
And where are you from, Tyrel?
So I'm from Omaha, Nebraska.
Nice.
Well, the area anyways, right across the river, Council Bluffs, Iowa.
So have you been to Sioux Falls to do comedy in the past?
No, I have not. This will be my first time in Sioux Falls, actually. I'm really excited about it.
Well, we're excited to have you here. Again, the event kicks off today. It goes all the way through the weekend here, and there's just so many fun things to do. Let's talk a little bit about you. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
So I've been doing stand-up comedy for going on about three and a half years now. I definitely... I got plenty more years to go in the game, but it's all been going so well for me since I started, to be honest with you. Plenty of ups and downs, but it just went well.
And what was it that first got you interested in doing stand-up comedy? Is there something that kind of drew you to this?
Yeah, it's pretty simple, actually. I always joke about this. It's honestly divorce.
Oh,
yeah. And this is something that I found over my years of just talking to other comics where you're like, oh, you know what actually drove you to go out and start it? And I feel like more often than not, it was like a down point in their life that made them feel invincible a little bit. Like, oh, I can't get any worse than this. I might as well go try this thing on my bucket list. And that was pretty much what happened for me. And my misery was making other people laugh, so I just rolled with it,
Nice. So with the stuff that you were going through in the divorce, is that part of your act, or that's not necessarily you're on the stage talking about that necessarily?
Well, I mean, definitely in the beginning, it was a big, outlet for me through the tough times. But I'd say more or less a lot of that material has fallen to the wayside or gotten sifted out, but there's a few jokes that still remain that the tried and true.
Very nice. Well, We're excited to see you in Sioux Falls. Do you know which days you'll be performing?
I'm going to be doing 2 of the shows on January 20th, on Saturday. I'll be doing 2 different shows. Very
nice. Will you be here the whole time, though, or are you going to just be here on Saturday?
So I actually am booked out of town and in a different town on the 18th and 19th. So then I'll be kind of rolling in the morning of the 20th and getting my 2 shows done. It'll be a busy weekend for me.
Well, we're excited to see you when you get here. And again, it's a fun time. And thank you for taking the time to chat with me today.
Of course. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Again, Snow Jam Comedy Festival kicks off tonight. Tyrel will be here this weekend. On the phone right now on this line, we have Timmy Williams. He's one of the original co-founders of Snow Jam Comedy Festival. And Timmy, you get to do the final performance on Sunday to close out Snow Jam, right?
Yeah, that's right. We wanted to, or they wanted to, I don't make decisions anymore. But they wanted to close it out with the same guy who thought of it, because it started with me, sort of, and so it's going to finish with me. So.
I love that. Now, Snow Jam has been a very fun festival. It's been very successful, and I've had several people go, why is it ending? Well, because everybody's busy, so it's not that it wasn't good. It's not that it didn't work. It's just that, people have moved on. Everybody's got stuff going on, but I want to just say thank you for many fun years. And I've had a chance to meet so many amazing people because of Sno Jam Comedy Festival. So a sincere thank you from me and the community of Sioux Falls for thinking of us and putting this together.
Hey, no problem. Hey, you're welcome. And it's been so fun. And, I hadn't been at the last couple, but, normally I was there. And, I've been doing comedy for a long time, been to other festivals. And that is part of it, just so the comics can meet and see each other, but also so people can kind of work on, perform and see what it's like in different parts of the world. And, this fest started, I was talking to Booblets and Dan Booblets however many years ago, probably 9 years ago. And I said, wouldn't it be funny if we made comedians from LA come to Sioux Falls, South Dakota in January?
Yeah.
And then 2 months later, he called me. He's like, hey, so we got sponsors for that. I'm like, what what? And then the first year we had it was not even, the weather was beautiful.
I remember that because I did interviews with comics, again, every year we've talked to the comedians on the radio, but that year I had people going, so is this like a joke? It doesn't really get cold here? I'm like, no, the joke is usually it's freezing cold right now, and it was 52 degrees that day. I would love to have that today. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I know. This year's going to be a little different.
Will you be here for the entire festival, or are you coming just for your thing on Sunday? Because I know you don't live in Sioux Falls, and you got all kinds of stuff going on, too.
Yeah, I will be there Saturday for sure, and then all day Sunday, of course. Yeah, definitely, just because I have, kid and job and stuff. So I'll be there Saturday. I definitely want to see some of the shows and see Sean Jordan, So that'll be fun. Yeah, but I'll be there for the last half of it.
It is going to be a whole lot of fun. Timmy, thank you so much for taking the time to chat. I appreciate it, sir.
No problem.
Again, Timmy Williams, and you can see him this Sunday. He's going to be the final performance of Sno Jam Comedy Festival. All of the details at snojamcomedyfest.com. SNOJAM, snojamcomedyfest.com.
What could you do with an extra $129 a month? In this economy, every penny counts. So an extra $129 each month would absolutely help. Well, 97% of us have a cell phone, and the average person pays $144 a month. Mint Mobile can help you save a mint. At just $15 a month, that's an average savings of $129 each month. It's time for a Mintervention. Switch and save today. Get this special offer at Mintervention.com. That's Mintervention.com.
It's time right now for This Day in Sioux Falls History, brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page, West Sioux Studios, and Sunny 93.3. It was on this day, January 18th, 1837, that Captain Jeffers was born. Now, in March of 1879, he came to Sioux Falls, but at that point, he was 42 years old. And he had already lived an amazing and adventurous life, from sailing up and down the Mississippi on steamboats as a preteen, volunteering for the Union Army during the Civil War, being discharged after injury just to re-enlist elsewhere and continue fighting, then being injured again, recovering and receiving a promotion to the first lieutenant of the 8th U.S. Artillery, and finally retiring his command to farm back home. Jeffers had seen the world and lived out the best and worst of it. Now, you might think a beginning like that would make a middle-aged man too tired to start a new life in the unforgiving prairie of South Dakota. But Charles Jeffers did exactly that in Sioux Falls, and he would embrace the challenge fully. While here, Jeffers would earn the distinction of being an assistant marshal of the village of Sioux Falls, then the Sioux Falls 1st City Marshal, deputy warden of the South Dakota State Penitentiary, captain of Company B of the Dakota National Guard, and he would later be promoted to major of the 2nd Battalion of the 2nd Regiment of the Dakota National Guards, and State Inspector General, all while being a good citizen and friend right here in Sioux Falls. We owe at least a small recognition to a man who decided to serve our great city rather than to retire and live the quiet life. So happy birthday to Captain Charles T. Jeffers, and thank you for your service. This Day in Sioux Falls History has been brought to you by the Sioux Falls Fun Page, West Sioux Studios, and Sunny 93.3.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-310-5831. 800-310-5831. That's 800-310-5831.